It'll rip your balls out and then kick you when you're down. This is the opening line to a review I wrote for Super Meat Boy when it released in October of 2010. Its subsequent releases on other consoles were also brutal, but the quality remained consistent. Super Meat Boy is a precision platformer, created by indie developers and featured in the documentary Indie Game the Movie. The critical success that Super Meat Boy had been became a larger phenomenon, and the game soared forward onto more consoles, and into your heart. The story of Super Meat Boy is just like every other meat-centered narrative you've ever encountered. A boy made of meat is attempting to save his girlfriend, an entity made entirely out of band-aids and named Bandage Girl, from the evil, monocle-eyed Dr. Fetus. Pretty typical, right? Throughout the crushingly difficult levels, you jump over fires, scale walls, and dodge giant saw blades, strategically placed to drive you insane. The controls in Super Meat Boy are incredibly tight and responsive, and you'll find that to be just as true on the newly released Nintendo Switch version as you will on any other console. Levels are designed to cause you angst, and they will. You will probably die at least once during most attempts, but it's about learning the level and its hazards. The payoff is always totally worth the aggravation. That is until Dr. Fetus steals your girl. The controls are simple, but not easy. You should know that Super Meat Boy looks like some fantastic pixel art, but it's really much more deep than it looks at first glance. For instance, Meat Boy leaves behind a trail of, well, meats everywhere he goes. The result on some more difficult levels is a reminder of your mistakes and successes, as your previous trail is always visible. There are two things about the Switch version of Super Meat Boy that you should know. 1. The music is different than the original release of the game. If you played anything before the PS4 version, you'll probably notice that things sound a bit different. If you're like me, the soundscape was one of your favorite parts of Super Meat Boy. But don't fret. Even though there's a new soundtrack due to some inability to reach an agreement with the original composer, you'll still love it. The soundtrack perfectly matches the game, and you likely won't really care. 2. There's a new split-screen mode called Race Mode, and it's really great. Grab a controller and hand your friend one as well to battle it out through a level, or 15. Having played Super Meat Boy so many times on various consoles throughout the years, it's refreshing to see a new feature work so well on an older game. Also, nothing beats roaring past your opponent as they fall prey to a giant buzzsaw. 3. Yeah, we know we said there were only 2 items you should know, but it's worth lying to you about. Super Meat Boy on Switch is likely getting a physical release at some unknown date in the future. You're going to want to buy it. Overall, the Switch release of Super Meat Boy is an improvement on an already amazing game. Everything about the game is better on the Switch, to the fact that you can carry it around with you, to the controller scheme, to the fact that we may now get a Super Meat Boy amiibo collection. We might have made that part about the amiibos up, but we can dream. In summary, the game is really hard and you'll probably hate it, but you'll hate it in like a really good way. Check out our interview with Tommy from PlayStation Experience 2017 about Super Meat Boy and the upcoming release Super Meat Boy Forever. And as always, be sure to check out handsomephantom.com.